Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies.
Right.
Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And, Mike, it is actually closer to 8 p.m. me time rather than 8 p.m. real time.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll probably get into it. Mike had a day. We're starting a little bit later than normal, but you know, it doesn't matter to me. I just we always start at 8 p.m. real time on a Friday night, which is 8 p.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is 7:49 Central Time right now. So yeah,
right.
Damn close to that other thing. But yeah. So anyhow, how are you, Mike?
Well, it's been a really long day. It's been a really long week. It's been a really long couple of weeks, week and a half. Yeah, I'm 90% sure I had COVID.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I'm still getting over it, and my brain's still fogged up, and yeah, and other F words.
All fogged up and fucked up, and
yep,
all the F words involved. Well, that sucks, but yeah, I mean, you sound better than you did a week ago, so hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely coming out of it, but
right.
Yeah, and low energy and blah 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 blah. Bitch.
Yeah, isn't this when we're supposed to say it's not all about us today, or something like that? I don't know.
Really? All right.
No, I don't know.
Well, we're here. We're here for you.
Yeah, we're here for you, the listener, and let's go ahead and remind everyone of that because we don't call off. You know, we don't call off of this podcast. We don't take a hiatus. We don't take a break.
Nope.
You know, now this is episode 104, which is this is the last one in season. What fuck season are we in for?
I don't know.
Yeah. So I think next week
the
is
season finale.
I was just gonna say something stupid, and I'm laughing too hard to be like, on this week's episode, previously on
special episode of Sober Not Mature.
Yeah, it's not. You know, hey, we did something new coming out of here. We turned off. So here's the thing. Let's talk just a side note of technology here. If what you're hearing right now, if you're sitting there and saying, "God damn, this sounds really good tonight," it's because we turned off our echo cancellation. Small thing, but whatever. So that's a different setting there. And I figured out something. So Mike, while you were out fucking having fun and gallivanting, you know,
oh yeah,
rather than starting on time, I actually went in and was looking at all this Spotify stuff with things that I'm not going to be able to do. I figured out a couple of different things, and if you remember, and I know I talked about it on here, but I know you'll remember when we first started on Riverside. Our episodes are recording in an MP4, like a WAV format, which is the best audio, and I had to cut them because I couldn't load up a full episode on Spotify because it was too big, and I had to reduce it from MP4 down to MP3, which is a lower. It's a compressed audio and lower, better. It's not as good a sound quality.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been recording on this lower sound quality since the beginning. But I tested it seriously while I had the time doing it. I tested it, and with these changes they're making, you've got to load up one file, which I was pissed about because I got to put everything together outside of Spotify into one file.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured out how to do it, did a test episode, was able to load up the entire MP4 episode, intros, web thing, the whole bit, one file. So now the reason, kids, that this sounds so fucking awesome is this is now in MP4, not MP3.
Ooh.
So we're coming to you in high fidelity. Is that what it is? Would that be what it is? The digital
Sure.
equivalent?
Well, I'm on Fidelity, so there you go.
Oh, that's a joke, kids. That's a
That
street
is
he
a
lives
joke.
on.
That is the street that I live on. The house I bought is on Fidelity Avenue. Come invade my home.
But the good news is these days you're not high, so you're not high on fidelity.
I'm
Hello.
not.
All right, cool. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, if everything works out, and I already tested it, this should be in the higher quality audio. So we'll see if it makes a goddamn bit of difference. I don't know.
All right.
Once again, content. We've said this before.
Yep.
Same shit. It may just sound better. That's it.
Good.
All right. So on that note, let's get into a reading that's going to sound spectacular coming out of that sick voice of yours too.
Right. Yeah. But, it gives me that good radio voice.
I know. I was just going to say, yeah, you sound, I don't know, like somebody or something. So yeah.
Well, clearly I didn't have a hell of a lot of time to prepare. Yes, it's been a day and a half. So I grabbed the book and flipped it open. And hey, guess what? July 4th, Independence Day, because we're fucking free today. So I thought that was nice.
That is cool.
Anyway, right. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look up who the hell wrote this quote, though. So whatever. You're going to have to do it later, or don't do it at all, because I don't care and you shouldn't care either. Or maybe you do. I don't know. I'm rambling. I told you I have COVID fog brain. All right. Let's see if I can still read. July 4th. We're all only fragile threads, but what a tapestry we make. Jerry Ellis. What a wonderful quote to describe the fellowship of recovery. As we meet in our healing circles, we weave together beautiful new lives, beautiful new tapestries. We take bits of wisdom and color from each other and add them to our lives. Together we weave a magical rug on which we journey to new lives and witness grand sunrises and sunsets. Alone we are fragile, but together we are strong and colorful. Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me to remember that my strength is not in standing alone, but in standing in the middle of many. Today's action. Today I will think about the threads that go into my recovery tapestry. Who are the people I most treasure? What are my most valued experiences?
Ooh, tapestry. There was a lot of tapestry going on in there.
There was.
We're weaving, we're coloring, we're tapestry.
Riding magic carpets, right? So we got Steppenwolf in there, we got Carole King in there. It's a beautiful thing.
I was going to say, yeah, the Magic Carpet Ride. I like that song. Are you a fan of that song or no? This is always fun to ask you about musical things. So
Steppenwolf was a fantastic band.
Okay, all right. So I like that song. So I mean, yeah, them in general, but yeah, that song. I don't know that it's a song snappy. You could dance to it, right?
Right.
All right. So I wrote down a couple of things on there: fragile threads, wisdom and color from each other, and then together we are strong. I mean, there was a lot more of the weaving and the blending and the
bobbing,
the bobbing and the weaving. And
That's right.
The bending over. Was there bending over in there?
I don't know. Shuffling around.
Shuffling over, bending, slap. Was there smacking and pulling?
No. There could be. Whatever you're into, man.
Whatever trips that trigger of yours. All right. So in the beginning part, yeah, I think from the quote was fragile threads, right? From the beginning. Which, I mean, that's just fragile in general. I don't know. I mean, if anyone is even mildly honest, even after the fact,
Mm-hmm.
I know I wouldn't admit it going when I walked in the doors of the Fine Ed Keating Center, but
That's right.
um, I mean, I was fragile, and I
Mm.
believe you probably were too, right?
Fucking brittle, man.
Yeah, and you know what the funny part is that God, I don't know. We've talked so much about this, and every time it kind of I just remember some of the stuff. It blows my mind. In a couple of things is that not I don't recognize I barely recognize that vision of myself, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I remember how I was, um, it makes me extremely uncomfortable
Mm.
sometimes in a good
Mm-hmm.
way,
Mm-hmm.
and just uneasy, almost like that, like a butterfly in your stomach, but not in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
um, but in looking back now, I mean, the everything I was angry, but that was based on fear. I was stubborn, everything that I was, and clearly I was fragile, but I didn't want to
Mm.
admit it,
Mm-mm.
because I, I thought I had this whole thing figured out. Not this
That's
whole
right.
thing,
Mm.
certainly not
Right.
sobriety, but I had life figured out, right?
Of course.
I was
Yeah,
doing well.
absolutely. But as I believe many people say, we were grown ass men.
Right, right. But yeah, even the toughest badass people, that we've known now, for years and years, or heard about, people that we didn't know that, when they first got sober, every
Mm-hmm.
one of them, once again, whether it's men or women, now once they get that head pop, out of their ass, they're hopefully
Mm-hmm.
they would admit how fragile they were. But yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
I thought that was important, the fragile thing. But so what'd you say, fucking brittle?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Right. Not just skating on thin ice, completely composed of thin ice.
I don't think I've ever heard that. Composed of thin ice. I might have to write that down. I don't know when I'd want to use it, but
It just came out of my head.
oh, okay. So, copyright? No, would that be copyright?
Trademark, I don't know.
Trademark. No, it would be copyright
It
because
would be
anything. Yeah,
copywritten. Yes.
that's an original work of J. Michael Harris.
Mm.
All right, so wisdom and color from each other, and once again, that comes with time, right? I mean, we
Hmm.
we end up to this day. I mean, we take take wisdom and get wisdom,
Hmm.
and color. I would just think is I don't know, the essence of people and the personality of people we get
No,
to enjoy, and
absolutely. Right. Yeah. And the different shades that make us up, we're not that dull gray on not only our skin, but right, yeah, our souls and our minds, and right, yeah, we had no color. We
right.
had no depth. We had nothing. We were a mess.
What's funny is that just reminded me of, and I don't remember what podcast it was. It might have been several, but I know I heard it on one in particular. It might be the male and female podcast that I always talk about. The guy that went in,
Hmm.
had his little breakdown, not a little breakdown, but I'm not trying to minimize that. But
Hmm.
I think he was talking about it at one point a couple of times, saying that once he got sober, after a little bit of time, just like life has color again. You start to
Hmm.
see all, like, basically see life in like Technicolor versus the black and white, and
Right.
that really is. I mean, if you think back about how your life was, and I know how my life was, it was just
Hmm.
like you said, grim and gray and
Yeah.
dark, and
Absolutely.
even on the sunniest day, I mean, we couldn't see beyond the nose on our face. I mean, it was just
Right.
terrible.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The difference between Kansas and Oz.
You know what? That's a great analogy. God, that's two. Come on now. Well, I'm gonna mark these down. Mike's got two already today, you
All
fucker.
right. I'm done. Thank you. Good night.
I'm like, I'm fucking falling behind, and you got fucking COVID brain. How can that happen?
I don't know.
So the last thing I wrote down though was "Together we are strong," which
Hmm.
is kind of a duh statement,
Right.
but I mean, we always talk about that. That what Marty used to say all the time. I get drunk, we stay sober, right?
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
One little thin thread, but you bind them all together and you get a fat ass rope.
A fat ass rope. That's three. God
All
damn
right.
you. Jesus Christ. You're on a roll. You know what? I don't know what you got to do to get COVID every week, but just, I mean, it's bringing, I don't know, this wealth of just great stuff to the podcast. So just
All right.
you know, take one for the podcast. So every 2 weeks, when you're coming out of this thing, you're going to have some. I know you're going to have some color. You're being very colorful tonight. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
You're just like whatever, man.
Right.
And then so read the action again. There was something in the action. Was that picking out people or things or
Nah, I
whatever?
don't know. Hang on a second.
Oh, you already put it away. Sorry.
Well, I mean, it was next to me.
Mm.
Today I will think about the threads that go into my recovery tapestry. Who are the people I most treasure? What are my most valued experiences?
Gotcha. Okay. So, and I think people, I think that, I don't want to say that's easy enough, but I think it is. I mean, the circle of friends, our
Mm-hmm.
family,
Right.
obviously our kids and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what about that experiences? Is that most valuable experiences, right? What do you think? I
Yeah.
mean, anything that pops off the top of your head, either from even go early on. Can you pick out one experience that was the most valuable, that kind of like your move forward type of thing? I mean, I got one that comes right out the top of my head, but
Well, go ahead.
mine was you and I,
Yeah. Right.
and that 9 month moment, when
Right.
when is it that simple? That and we joke about it and we laugh about it, but
Mm-hmm.
no shit. I mean, I don't know honestly what would have happened to me if I wouldn't have had that moment, and
Mm.
that awakening, I guess, if you want to call it that. It was that, and coming to grips with, obviously the guilt that I had about being drunk at
Right.
my dad's funeral. It was two
Mm-hmm.
things, but they both happened within such a very short amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and those were my points. Those were my most valuable points so far in sobriety, because I truly think without those, at least one of them,
Mm-hmm.
or both of them. But I think the one between you and I, because that was important. Getting over my dad sooner or later, I think that would have popped.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, without that realization, that that fucking realization that I was complicating fucking everything.
Of
You know,
course. Yeah, that's what we do. Right.
I
That's
know,
why they keep screaming at us, keep it simple.
right?
Right. Yeah, slow down. It's going to happen in time. All the stupid cliches that, whatever are there for a fucking reason, man.
Right.
Yeah, keep it fucking simple. This is simple. It's a simple program for complicated people.
Yeah, but I mean, I still look back, and the only reason I laugh is because I was 9 months sober, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, going through the motions, do whatever, and I still can't believe I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but it blows my mind that I couldn't fucking get it. It
Mm,
just I don't
right.
know.
Well, I don't know. That's pretty fucking quick, man. Because there are people that have a longer time than that, still haven't gotten it.
Yeah, that's true.
There are people that never get it. There are people, yeah, we know some. Um, right. I mean, 9 months isn't bad at all, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just for everyone out there, I don't mean that I get it. Like I got this whole sobriety thing.
Hmm.
I understood a minor point that was it was my starting point, really.
Sure.
To being able to stay sober, I think, and
Hmm.
I truly believe that. But so that's what I mean by getting it. I still don't got this thing or have this
Mm-mm.
thing, or we
No.
talked about that plenty of times. But
Sure.
just understanding the concept of just keeping shit simple.
Hmm.
I didn't have that for 9 fucking months, so it was
Right.
weird.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, again, yeah, it's simple.
Right. Right.
Do these things that they suggest, there's my air quotes, suggest that they do, and you get the results. It is that fucking simple.
Right. But
Not easy.
yeah, that's true. And I'm completely open about the fact that I still try to complicate it. It's the patience thing. It's wanting
All
things to
right.
happen, in my time versus whatever fucking time it takes. And
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten better, to a point. At least
Exactly.
I know when I'm doing it. I know when I'm being a fucking ridiculous idiot. But
Yeah, you recognize it. Right. You're not walking around like we used to. Like you said, I got this thing. I got things handled. I got it all figured out. Everything's great. Of
right,
course, all my problems are everyone else's fault, but
right. Yeah, and the problem is I think people in general, and no offense to anyone out there, but I think people in general think that they get all these positive things going on, and
Hmm,
I got the world by the balls, I got the world by the ass, I got all this shit taken care of, and everything's cool, and those are the folks that unfortunately like and I was a great example when my dad died.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I had everything taken care of, but I had no idea that I had no comprehension and no coping skills or anything like that. I had no
Mm-hmm.
life skills up until that point.
Right.
And one thing, it's a big deal. Yeah, losing a parent and all that stuff.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, it's a big deal. But I mean, it about took me out. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the unfortunate part that happens to so many people that, the one big event, it crushes people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
and I mean, as you were talking about it, I was thinking, like, people that have that 9 months of sobriety, and they're getting their shit back, and they're getting, and things are great, and blah 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 blah, and one little thing, and they fucking relapse, well,
right.
because they haven't built the foundation, they haven't, and they haven't realized that, like, thankfully we remind ourselves every day we don't have this fucking thing. We've still got to do the work. We've still got to do the basics of this thing. Otherwise, yes, one little thing, this horrible fucking week and a half I've had, this garbage day that I had, not a garbage day, just lots and lots of bad moments. It was just long and dumb
Right.
and right, but I mean, yeah, and I could get all self-pitied and so it wasn't that fucking bad. I thankfully have that tool to sit there and go, yeah, it was garbage, and I felt like shit for a week and a half, and my head hurts, and it has for a week and a half, and I'm really getting fucking tired of my head hurting. But so what? I'm still sober. I'm still in my nice big old house, and it's snowing outside, and I'm not out in it and anymore.
Right.
Yeah, So right, yeah, little things could take us out, but we've got that foundation built. We have that tapestry, that rug we can lay on.
Right. Yeah, and I was just thinking that, and I almost said that well, I guess a couple of things. And we talked about it. How all the shit that we went through, has worth, and prior to getting
Mm-hmm.
sober, but also since. And
Right.
I was almost going to say, and this may come out the wrong way, but um, I do value all the any of the tragic things that have happened, especially in sobriety, because
Mm-hmm.
they've. I'm not happy that people died or
Mm.
bad things happened, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I've been tested. And
Mm.
every time it happens, I think to myself, I'm like, fuck me, what, and that's when I think about what would I have done when, and
Mm-hmm.
um, am I sometimes, like I said before, I ask myself, do you feel like drinking? Is this that bad? Which it's not,
Right.
but I test myself. It's kind of like poking myself, like, okay,
Mm.
fucker, are you good?
Right.
You may
Oh
not be
yeah,
good, but
definitely.
are you
I
at
mean,
least
well, and at this point, I ask myself the question: would getting loaded make anything better? And of
right,
course, the answer is no. It's
right,
going to make it worse. Yeah, we all know, yes, that initial, that's what we've been chasing for decades. That initial, um, but yeah, it's not going to make anything better. It's going to make things worse. And yeah, just walk through this shit, man.
right.
You will get through the other side, always.
Yeah, and same thing. Whether it's been deaths or for me, I've had job things. I mean, I've
Mm-hmm.
been open about it. I've had everything from family deaths and
Mm-hmm.
relationship problems and financial issues, fucking
Sure.
job stuff. And
Yeah, me too.
but
Right.
here's the thing. I mean, 5,000 and how many ever fucking days that we have at this point. I haven't picked up a drink in 5,000 plus days, and
Right.
that's fucking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no shit. And this time of year, and we probably talked about this last year too, but I know you and I have this conversation probably every year. Once it hits like the first of the year, then I'm like, holy shit, it's only 4 months till our anniversary, or four and a
Right.
half. And
Mm-hmm.
then, it's like this time of year is because I look at my sobriety counter every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Just for anyone who hasn't heard me say that before, I'll tell you why. First of all, time matters. We were taught that,
Mm-hmm.
but quality of time, and we've got to make sure that we have. It's not just the 5,000 days. We've we've accomplished some things during that time frame, and it's not all like good
Mm-hmm.
time, but for the most part, good quality time, right?
Right.
But it's a reminder to me. I've worked for every one of those days regardless, and it's also a reminder to me of what I have to lose,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what got me looking at that every day. But it's a motivator in both directions. It motivates me that, wow, look what you've done, type of thing, but also look what you got
Mm-hmm.
to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But like the last week or so, I mean, every morning I'm looking at something, I'm like, motherfucker, I'm like 13.68 or 7, whatever. It's like, I'm like, Jesus goddamn Christ, that's a fucking lot.
Right.
It's not as compared to a lot of people, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a fucking lot.
Yeah.
And I'm just it blows my mind. And that's a good thing. I'm happy that the fact that it blows my mind every time I think about it, or this time every year it happens. This time every year coming up on our anniversaries.
Right.
It just fucking blows my mind in a wonderful, wonderful way. So,
Mm-hmm.
but speaking of big days coming up, 2 days from now.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. The other reason I wanted to bring it up is because I want to hear you. I want to hear how you feel about birthdays. So we talked about this before. Mike's birthday is this coming Sunday, which is the
Mm-hmm.
18th of
Mm-hmm.
February. So
Mm-hmm.
happy birthday to my friend Mike over there. And if you happen to run
Mm.
across him, happy birthday to him. But Mike, share with the crowd what you think about birthdays.
Congratulations, your father didn't pull out.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it's a celebration of something that you had absolutely nothing to fucking do with. And if this program has taught me anything, it's taught me that I need to be proud of the things that I've accomplished, not things that have been given to me, not things that I didn't earn.
Right.
And a birthday has nothing to do with me. Again, daddy didn't pull out.
I know, it's just
It's all that fucking means.
and when that came up, is that I think it was either our anniversary episode the first year, so a year ago
Mm-hmm.
on our anniversaries, when I came up, because we were talking about the most important days. And mine, I got three that are big ones for me. My
Right.
anniversary is number one, Father's
Mm-hmm.
Day is number two, and my
Mm-hmm.
birthday only because I have the opportunity to usually I get together with my kids, we have dinner.
Right.
This year
Mm-hmm.
I drove up to Wisconsin and back, and had lunch with my kids, and it was fucking wonderful.
Right.
Because I get to hang with my kids, and my grandson was there, and it was just great. My son-in-law was there too, but
Mm-hmm.
and Katie, so
Mm-hmm.
I just got to spend an hour and a half, and drove 6 hours to spend a couple hours with my kids, and
All
it
right.
was and it was fucking wonderful. That's
Yeah.
that's all I care about on my birthday.
Sure. Right. Yeah. But I mean, that's, you don't need that fucking day on the calendar to do it. And
Right.
you clearly don't. You do it all the time.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
again, the worthlessness of a birthday.
Right. Well, the only thing I get on my birthday and Father's Day, is they actually buy me lunch, which is fun, because then I'm like, hey, you're paying, right? Well, of course we are. Good.
Uh-huh. Good. Yeah.
Just fuck with it a
Fucking
little
A
bit.
right you are.
Yeah, I do that to Derek all the time when we go out. I'm like, I'll slide the check his way, or I'm like, you're paying this time, right? And he looks at me. It's just fucking funny. I like fucking with him. But so anyhow, yeah, I mean, I knew better. I knew better than that, or I knew about the birthday thing, but that's literally why I
Mhm.
brought it up. So
Mm-hmm.
the other thing I thought about, so this is Lent now, right? And it just reminded me of
It is, yes. It started on Wednesday.
yeah.
Ash Wednesday, you primitive screwheads.
But it reminded me of that first year that we were in Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
going to Who Do You Know? Because our home group, which was literally in the building next to the church, and
Yeah, right.
Friday night, it's 7:00 on a Friday night,
Uh-huh.
which it was never a problem. Big fucking parking lot. I mean, never a problem getting a
Mm-hmm.
parking
Oh,
spot.
yeah.
And then you go to pull in there, and I don't think anything about it. I think you and I rode there together that first
Probably. Yeah, I
time.
think we did.
Yeah, and we were pulling. I was like, "What the fuck, man?" And you're like, "Yeah, you're it's Lent. They're there for the fucking fish fry in church, or
Yep.
whatever the thing it is, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "God damn it!" So yeah, whatever it is it 6 weeks, 4 weeks? Well, it's
It's
April.
whatever it's between. Yeah, it's, till Easter.
Yeah, April. I think April 1st this year is Easter, isn't it? I think.
31st of March, I
Oh, is it?
believe.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Okay. So yeah, coming up, month and a half. But so yeah, 6 weeks of that, so 6 fucking Fridays in a row. We either
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't matter. You couldn't get there early because everyone was fucking there. You just
Right.
cross your fingers and somehow, they park fucking 4 blocks away to go to
Oh,
a big
yeah.
goddamn AA
Absolutely.
meeting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because it's in our neighborhood basically, and yeah, I mean, there's a couple of years there where, yeah, I had to park, 5 blocks away and walk, right?
Yeah,
Yep, because they can't eat meat, so they have to eat fish, which is meat. But okay,
right.
yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know. But yeah, I thought about it too. It's just that used to you and I going to get our pizzas on a Friday night, and like, yeah, where
Right.
you get do you still get the 3 meat pizza, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I do too. I'm like, yeah, I've never. So Lent is excuse my ignorance here, but Lent's more.
Mm,
It's a Catholic thing, right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, because I even when we were kids, I mean, we were born into the Lutheran side of things, and I don't.
Mm,
I mean, we didn't do a lot of religious shit to begin with, and
mm-hmm.
did some church, did the Sunday school, whatever, and
Right.
but I just don't remember everyone giving up shit for Lent and whatever, and all this different stuff we just never got involved in. So again, my ignorance, but I don't give a fuck one way or the other. But
Mm-hmm.
I thought pretty much it was a Catholic thing. So I did give up something for Lent this year, though.
What'd you give up?
Lent, come
Yep.
on now.
Nah, that's what I give up every year.
You kind of walked into that. I knew you knew where I was going with it, but
Uh-huh.
so one other thing with Big Days. So I was on Instagram shortly before we get on here. So our guest last week, and also our guest from episode 83, Carly,
Mm-hmm.
it
Mm-hmm.
is her 1 year sober anniversary today.
Ah,
So
congratulations.
yeah,
Now we can
congratulations,
finally
sir.
say it. Congratulations on a year. You
Yeah,
finally earned it.
I know. Yeah, when she brought it up last week, we're both like, yeah, when it comes around, we'll congratulate you. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is today. I just saw it. She had just posted something. I don't know, an hour or so ago. But yeah, so
Cool.
if anyone has the opportunity, listen to her the episode last week with us, episode 103, and then episode 83. It's her and Breeze. But yeah, she just hit a year, so she's doing a lot of shit and doing some good shit from a recovery standpoint and lots of other stuff. But yeah, so happy sober anniversary to her.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anything more on the reading or anything like that? Our tapestries woven together and bumping and
No.
slapping and pulling and
Slapping and pulling and slapping sound.
poking. All right. So, one other thing I wrote down, and I saw that you signed up for it again, a little radio gig
Ah,
coming up again. So Mike, talk about your radio thing because it's a big deal, and I know it is to you.
yeah, it is. Yes. Well, there is a local college radio station here, WJCU at John Carroll University. And they're community funded. The college only pays for a small part of their budget. So once a year, they have a radiothon. Actually, it's happening right now. They will be, it continues through Sunday. Yeah. So, www.wjcu.org if you are so inclined to throw them a couple of shekels. I do every year. JCU is important to me. Told the story plenty of times. I'll give you the thumbnail version. It was my first week, maybe the second week, in the Keating Center. Yeah, it was Friday night, and I threw my ass in my bunk and turned the radio on and was flipping around trying to, take my mind off my miserable life. And and yeah, found that they were playing, like I've said before, it was either the New York Dolls or the Dead Boys, and then the next song was either the Dead Boys or the New York Dolls, two of my absolute favorite bands in the world. And I was like, what the hell is this? Why are they playing this fantastic music? And on the radio. And yeah, it turned out it was Adam and Andy, music to break things by. And they are no longer on the air, but they did their show for like 13 years, and yeah, listened to it. It was very helpful to me to have some normalcy in the midst of trying to get my shit together, and it was an important part of my early sobriety. And a guy named Bill Peters has been doing a heavy metal radio show on that station since 1982. He still does it. I listened to the first hour. of the show tonight because I was still in the truck and still in my car, and which I'm usually not at that point on a Friday night. And yeah, it's so I support the station. I donate every year to the Radiothon. For a couple of hours for me to go down there and play my horrible music on the radio. Um, so yes, I've done it again. I donated last week, the first night of the Radiothon, and sometime this summer, probably towards the end of summer, I will be down in the studios spinning my horrible music.
Yeah, and I saw that you saw on Facebook that you did that, so I made a note of it right away because and it's a while. I mean, it's like 6 months away, and we'll bring it up
Mm-hmm.
more as we get closer. But
Sure.
this will be coming up on the third year in a row that we've talked about it on here.
Right.
So I'm trying to think. I'm like, was it only no? That was two. It's been two so
Yeah.
far. But
Yeah.
but yeah.
And it's
So
been right. And this is, I believe, my sixth time going down doing
I
it.
think it's seven because I think it said six last year.
I don't know. I've been doing it a while. The other show, I would go down occasionally because they had a Facebook page and stuff, and I became an active listener to Music to Break Things By, and so I got to know the guys that did it, and so I ended up going down there and hanging out a couple of times and playing some music and stuff with them. Met Bill Peters because his show was on right before theirs. So I met him when I was down there, and we've become friends. And we get to be a part of the community. Not just the sober community, but it doesn't matter. We get to do things to, again, make our little corner of the world a better place, and this is one of the ways I do it.
Right. And I love the fact that where that and I'm glad you told the origin of it too, because I think it's really cool that you support and you're part of and all those sort of
Mm,
things. All that I is truly wonderful. But I really like the fact of where it all started,
mm-hmm.
and I mean I was there because I know how you felt,
Right.
and plus I was there the entire time with the music to break things by, and especially
Mm-hmm.
when we lived together, and
Right.
I'd walk out into the kitchen, and you just fucking wailing in your room, and but it was cool. It like I said, I like the whole story and everything about it is cool. So yeah, it's
Mm,
something that if you guys get an opportunity, like Mike said. It's a support them if you can. Worst case scenario when it comes down to it, obviously listen to him. It's
mm-hmm.
Mike has a lot of fun, and
I
you can
do.
tell he has a lot of fun doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
he proves that anyone out there that thinks that we can't swear when we're in front of a microphone, he proves it once a year, at a minimum.
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Oh, it's a Jesuit college, man.
Right.
Yeah. So there's no cursing on the air down there. Absolutely not.
Right. Well, and again, it's radio. It's radio. I mean,
It
there's
is
only
right. It's terrestrial radio. I mean, there's another college station here in town where they do, especially after 10 o'clock. When it opens up and stuff, and they play music with horrible words in it.
Huh,
But yeah, JCU doesn't. That's again, it's Jesuit college, so they keep it clean
right. But no, like it's
ish.
yeah.
We still play the devil music on there because it's metal on metal radio, baby.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. It's nice. The whole thing, everything about it is just nice. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I did make a note that I want to ask you it's not really a test question, so maybe it is. It's a trivia question from last week. So, Mike, speaking of
Mm.
swearing on in front of a microphone, how
Uh-huh.
many times do you think we said fuck last week?
I think we had a pretty low number last week. I know well, hell, I didn't talk that much, so that'll lower it right there. Um,
Yeah, and we
I'm
did, we had a guest, and you're right.
right, exactly.
It wasn't a record week or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
Um, but yeah, so I'm not going to give you more hints. I'll let you try to guess.
72.
Go down by three.
No. House 69, baby.
It was.
Yeah.
And I knew better because well, it's the same thing when we have, and I don't think, and I don't know if there's a way for me. I suppose probably I could, I don't know, I could filter it down and see. But if Carly swore at all, I don't think it was. I don't think she swore at all. I mean,
I think she did a couple times, but not a
she might
lot.
have. Yeah, she's a sweet person and a nice girl, and she's
Mhm.
not fucking filthy like us,
Right.
but you when you do it, it's kind of fun. So if anyone's ever seen like I don't know, a recording in the sound waves type of thing, we look at it like in an edit mode, and then when I do a search like that for a word, it puts a dash in every one. So
Hmm.
the beginning of the episode was very light, and the second half of the episode, which is just us, that's
Hmm.
where there was probably 50 or 55 of them were
Right.
probably in that
So you're
second.
saying it's spiked.
It was just a bunch of these yellow dashes brrrr, all the way in, and I'm like, yeah, you could tell we had a guest on in the first half, but I thought that worked out well. I mean, the recording, and the thing that I thought about with the echo, I mean, all after the fact, with Carly being on her phone, I may have forgotten to turn her echo stuff on because I heard a little bit you and I when we were talking with her, and then
Mm-hmm.
our recording was fine, but the quality of it turned out perfectly, even though we had somebody drop off in the middle like that, which we had with Shannon a few weeks ago too. But
Sure.
I don't know. It's just I think it opens up a whole new opportunity for us maybe to have people,
Hmm.
because I mean, people are busy. I mean, I know we know that, but if somebody just if we say, hey, we're recording between 8 p.m. and sometime between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. pop on. I mean, we could
Right.
we could even do something like that. It wouldn't matter.
Hmm.
So it just I don't know. It was a nice way to test it out. But yes, 69 fucks we had last week.
Nice.
I know. Yeah, it was great. It was a record in another way. So or in another dimension. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
All right, so I guess looking at the time, holy fuck, man, it's almost yeah. Why
Yep.
don't we? Oh, and the it's just us, our fucking worthless website
Okay.
promo. So you
Yeah,
know what?
right.
Yeah, go ahead and listen to it, people, if you want. But yeah, we'll whore ourselves out after the break. So yeah, go ahead, Mike.
All right. Well, stay tuned for more of this scintillating conversation right after these words from our whores.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi
And
there.
yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So we
Two.
wanted two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com, and we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's
Yes.
www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
Ah.
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can
Right.
access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is
at
a
least,
big deal.
at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And
They
once
are.
again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
.com.
.com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone, you've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right. right, everyone, welcome back to the whores. that was a good one. You had me laughing on that one. I like that.
Good.
So, but no, obviously the promo talks about the website and all the shit on there, blah 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 and stuff. So,
Mm.
what we always talk about, there's other ways to support the podcast, right, Mike? Would you like to remind people how they might be able to support us without spending a dime?
Yes, you can like, you can subscribe, you can share.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
That's it.
give us a
Give us one of
review.
them 5 stars reviews.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. You do not even have to put any words in there. Give us a review. What it does, and seriously, from just to remind everyone, the more positive reviews we get, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of it places us a little bit. And the point behind that, yes, it's a little bit selfish. We want to grow. We want to be placed differently and all that stuff. We want to grow in, not just in listeners and but also in rankings in certain areas, But
Sure.
maybe I don't know who, but
Mm-hmm.
but maybe somebody out there might get something from this shit. You don't know.
Exactly.
We don't
Right.
know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, assholes, if you got something out of this thing, what makes you so fucking special?
Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
say?
maybe other people want to fucking get some stuff out of this too. Quit hogging it all to yourselves.
Right. But yeah, and there's, we do have the Buy Me a Coffee link that's on our website. We have obviously merchandise. If you want to buy some shit and actually get something back, feel free. Um, the money part of it, the buy me a coffee thing is nice. Some people have done it. We truly appreciate it. We have not
Mm-hmm.
received a lot of donations, but everything we do here, this doesn't cost a lot of money. But yes, there's time, there's some money involved. What we're speaking on right now, what we have attached to our heads, the cords that we
Mm-hmm.
have to buy, the programs, all the things I'm talking about, this cutting shit, those things cost money. It's not a lot.
Right.
We have not put ourselves into any sort of financial strain
Mm-mm.
by bringing you this quality broadcast.
Can't even get it out, can you?
I try every fucking time, and I can't. I just can't. But anyhow, so yeah, if nothing else, please, seriously, tell somebody. If you got something out of it, like Mike said, you selfish motherfuckers, go tell somebody else.
That's right.
But so did you watch any of the Super Bowl or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Not a goddamn minute of it. Nope.
Okay. So, just a long story. The game itself was boring as fuck, and like 3.5 quarters of it were fucking boring. And then it actually the last half of the fourth quarter went into overtime was good. I enjoyed that portion of it. It was entertaining. Okay, but even set that aside, some of the commercials were good. Halftime show, whatever. But here's the thing. So let me remind everyone, if I heard this figure correctly, for a 30-second ad now in the Super Bowl, it costs $7 million. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think I heard that right.
Yeah.
Um, so there was this long ad, and I couldn't figure out what it was about. This and that. It was an ad about God.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so fine. This is not against God people or anything like that. If you're a God guy or a God girl, I don't give a fuck. We've talked about that plenty. We're not. We don't care. We support you. We love you guys. It's fine. Cool. Do your
Mm-hmm.
do your God thing. But
Mm-hmm.
where 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 does the $7 million come from? And I know the answer. I don't
Well,
necessarily.
yeah.
I know the answer.
Well, when you don't pay taxes and you pass a plate every week, you
I
get
know.
some money.
Yeah, and it's just it, it blew my mind. And then there was another one, so that was about a God thing. And then there was another one, Mark Wahlberg. I think maybe Mark Wahlberg was in that one about the God thing. There was one that says blah blah blah, and then Jesus, the God ad. There were ads about the one. The kind of the theme thing they did talk a lot about like hate speech and hating and bullying and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I mean, that's cool. We're all about that too. I mean, we've talked about that before. Make your
Sure.
little corner of the world a better place.
Yeah.
There's no place for bullying and picking on people and all that shit. We're all about
Right.
that.
Yeah. We don't care what you do. Just don't hurt anybody else.
Correct.
Right.
And
Yeah. And if
for
you are hurting somebody else, I'm going to smack you in the fucking mouth.
and yeah, for these groups and organizations and coalitions or whatever you want to call, these groups that get together and raise money to try to get awareness out for that, I'm all
Mm-hmm.
for it. Now, whether or not I
Sure.
donate to it, if it was somebody I knew, I might. I
Mm-hmm.
don't get involved in that. I would give more to recovery things. But hey, that's all cool. But it just blew my fucking mind that this God and Jesus stuff. And I'm like, okay, so just even if it was 2 ads, that's $14 million.
Oh.
I'm like, okay. I
Mm-hmm.
again blew my mind. That's it. I have nothing more to say about that. I just I don't want to, because we're not religious. We're not talking about this shit. We don't talk about politics or any of this fucking garbage. But
Right.
I just fucking blew my mind. So once again, 14 million. That's it. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, that is what it is.
It is.
It definitely is. Oh, I know. My fucking brain is all over the place. So last night I was watching the end of this series. Oh, my cowboy soap opera, Yellowstone. I watched
Mm-hmm.
the mid-season finale. Whether or not it's coming back more episodes doesn't matter. So I finished that, and I'm just like, I want to watch something else for another half hour, 40 minutes before I was getting ready for bed. And I flipped it on, and the movie Fletch was on Netflix, and I'm like, oh fuck, man, I haven't seen that in a
Ah.
long time. And first of all, it's from 1985, so I'm like, but it's Chevy Chase, and I've seen the movie, and it fucking makes me laugh. So I started
Mm-hmm.
watching it, and do you remember the scene where he goes into the doctor's office and he's trying to get more information on Tim Matheson's character Stanwyck, Alan Stanwyck, whatever the fuck his name is,
All right.
the doctor that's checking him out. Did you remember the name that he uses, the fake name in there?
I believe it's Ted Nugent, isn't it?
In one part, yeah, he uses Ted
Okay.
Nugent one. In the doctor's office, the doctor's looking at his chart, he's asking him all the questions, and then Chevy Chase is sitting on the table and he's like, so barber, that's a weird word. He's like, Chevy Chase is like, no, it's babar.
Ah.
And he's like, babar with two B's? And he's like, no, Babar. And he's like, that is two B's. And he's like, no, I thought you meant two B's together. But he's like, then the doctor's like, isn't there a children's book about an elephant named Babar? And Chevy Chase is like, I don't know, I don't have any. He's like, any children? He's like, no, any books about elephants. And I'm just sitting there to myself, fucking Babar, and I just started laughing all over again. So anyhow, that was a complete side note about. Listen, I don't know what episode that was, but we have a story about Babar. So
We do.
and it makes me laugh. Okay, so what? Okay, Mike, let's get down to business here. Quit fucking around, all
All
right?
right. All right. Sorry, man.
I know. I said my fucking brain's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this was in God grant me. I haven't read this thing I wrote down here. When I take my 10th step inventory today, I will ask, how did I get outside of myself today? Now, this is from God grant me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know when, but so when I take my 10 step inventory, I will ask, how did I get outside of myself today? I didn't really understand, and this wasn't necessarily recent, but
Mm-hmm.
does that make any sense to you? How did I get outside of myself today?
Yeah, absolutely. How did I think about others?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What did I do for others? Get out of my own head. I'm not the most important fucking thing in the universe. Yeah. How did I think about other people's feelings and yeah, get out of myself. Absolutely. Makes total sense to me. And I do that every night. I'm not always completely successful, but but yeah, right. How did I pull my head out of my ass? Because I need to do that on a daily basis too.
Right. Yeah, and it just when I read the words and even reading it a couple of times there, it wasn't, and I do the same thing. I just wasn't, the words weren't making sense to me.
Mm,
I don't understand the words that are coming out of my
right.
mouth. But no, it didn't. I'm like, I think that's why I wrote it down, because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't, it just didn't click. And I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? You know?
Right. Yeah.
But
It's not about getting loaded.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. Thinking of others. That's all.
Yeah, and I mean, I do that. Speaking of religious, I'm religious about doing a 10 step every day. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing. And I make sure that, the thing that I've been doing, like, especially when I was going through that job search and stuff like that, or if I have something, this has been probably for the last couple of years or few years, if I have something stressing on my mind during the day, um, I try not to rehash that when I'm going to bed, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
I used to do that. Like if things were really bothering me, I'm like, oh, this and this, and I got to work on this and this person and blah blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just kind of getting myself all fired up. And um, what I've been doing again, probably for the last couple of years, is just it'll pop into my head. I'm like, nah, I don't need to deal with that right now. It is what it is, type of thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
it just I always ask myself, how was my day? What did I do? How did things go? Same thing. I think that we're supposed to do. Was I a good boy? Did I try to make my little corner of the world a better place?
Uh-huh.
Did I hurt anybody? Do I owe anyone an apology? Which thankfully, and I think we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that. I cannot remember, thankfully, the last time that I laid down at night like that and thought, fuck me. I
Yeah,
I need to
right.
I need to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time, I think. So
It has. Yeah, that's a good thing.
right, yeah. In the fact that I cannot remember it. Yeah, by all means. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have a bunch of these things written down from the recovery books. Haven't read this one recently either, so let's just read it from Keep It Simple. Do you let yourself be afraid of your illness? You'd better. Many of us were scared into sobriety. Often a spiritual awakening directly follows a good scare. Fear seems to improve our vision. Does that ring true to you? Being afraid that we better be afraid because we're scared in sobriety, all that sort of thing. Does that make any sense?
Um, uh, to the extent that we need to realize that our disease is a power greater than ourselves, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Powerful, yeah. A healthy fear of, which is in part remembering what the fuck it did to us,
Right.
what it made us become. Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I can't live my life. Oh, I'm so scared of my disease. No, but I have to have that healthy fear of it and remember just how fucking powerful it is and what it is capable of doing to me. Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and when the one part of it where it says many of us were scared into sobriety, I mean
Mm-hmm.
at the time, and I said for the longest time that I was, taking the detox and taking to the Keating Center, which I mean I was, but
Mm-hmm.
um, and I used to always say that I was, didn't want to get sober, which I did not. That's
Right.
still, I mean, I still hold true to that, but I wasn't really forced. I had no place else to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you really tear everything down, I was scared into sobriety because
Mm-hmm.
the the only other alternative was nothingness.
Right.
And really, even though the fucking doctor said to me, 3 weeks to live and this and that, and I heard him, but I
Mm-hmm.
listened, but I didn't really. I don't think I know for a fact I didn't completely comprehend
No, of course not.
all of
Well,
that.
or believe it
Right.
completely. Right. At that point, we're still we're still in our fucking disease, man. It's been a couple hours since we had our last drink.
Yeah.
Or a day or two or whatever the hell it was. But right, yeah, we're still very much in our disease. We're not going to believe that. Of course not. No, no, what the hell are you talking about? I made it this far. We're fucking delusional up to our eyeballs. Yeah, of course we're not going to truly believe it. Even though it is absolutely true.
Right.
Yeah, you keep doing what you're going to do. You got a month if you're lucky.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But no, of course we don't believe it. So how can we have the true fear of that statement when we don't believe it and understand it and yeah, it's just not comprehensible to us at all.
Right.
No, at all. Yeah.
Well, even think about that. I mean, granted, and I'm not taking away from the fact that I was a fucking mess. I mean, the amount that I was drinking and my blood alcohol level when I went in, and all the
Mm-hmm.
medical tests and all those different things that they did. But if on the surface, if nothing else, on the outside, yeah, I look like shit and whatever it was, but I
Mm-hmm.
was waking up every day. I was walking around through life. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't throwing up blood or shitting myself, or
Mm-mm.
it's not like I wasn't
Not
sitting.
daily anyway.
Right. But you know what I mean? It's like I wasn't.
Oh, I know.
It's not like you're like a
Right.
like a cancer patient where all these it's visible, but it wasn't. So all this
Mm-hmm.
damage you were doing, basically, we were killing ourselves from the inside, and what it was doing to our organs, obviously is slowly coming on the outside, but sooner or later the organs are just going to be so like, fuck it, I'm done.
Right. Yeah.
I ain't dealing with this shit no more,
Uh-huh.
and I know I've said it on here before. They couldn't regulate my blood pressure, when I was in
Right.
detox. I'm sitting
Mm-hmm.
there watching a fucking movie and my blood pressure was spiking.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And I'm wondering why I was fucking hot all the time.
Right.
Like, oof, why is it so fucking warm? Because my blood inside of me, every blood vessel basically everything's about ready to explode out of my
Mm-hmm.
body. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and I don't know. It's just that everything that we were doing, it is. I suppose it is hard to believe, even when you get delusional. You said it. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Is that I don't know. It doesn't matter. They were giving us all the facts right on paper here. This is how fucked up
Mm-hmm.
you are.
Right.
Really? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We believed our own fucking lies for so long. Yeah, we can't even recognize the truth anymore.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. It just, I, I, I don't know. It's baffling. As I sit here, I'm trying to think. I had nothing else to say about it. It's just fucking mind blowing and baffling. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I'm not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I'm outside of that fog. Oh, it's kind of funny. There was, well, three different people that started at this company that I'm working at on the same day. One guy was going to the
Mm-hmm.
agency side, and me and another guy were going on the law firm side.
Mm-hmm.
So with our manager, at least once or twice a day, we get together. He just does a check in. How are things going and this and that. So he's got us
Sure.
off working stuff and doing stuff on our own. But he was talking about he had, I don't know, went someplace that was a birthday dinner for one of his kids. They went out and they were just late at a restaurant like the other night. And he goes, I wasn't even. He goes, hey guys, I had one beer. He goes, but we didn't leave the restaurant. He goes, it was so busy and so many people, we didn't even leave the restaurant till like 10:30. He's one that like gets to the office at like 7 a.m. or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he was telling it. I'm exhausted today, and he goes, here's the thing. He goes, towards the end of the day, he said, make sure you guys obviously get some rest your brains, kind of study up on
Mm-hmm.
some of the stuff we were doing. But he brought up the fact, he goes, this is not, he goes, not that I've never done it before. He's like 50 years old. I mean, he's not like a
Mm-hmm.
young guy, but he goes, I don't understand how people could do this job and go out and party every night or stuff like that. He goes, you need to, there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to comprehend. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's detailed shit we're doing, and I'm
Right.
just kind of laughing to myself thinking, God, I tried for fucking years to do to do jobs like this. Some that were quote unquote easier and some that weren't,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm like, that's just made me think about that. I'm like, yeah, I'm so fucking glad. I woke up today, a couple of days in a row. I was kind of tired, but that's my own fault. I stayed up later than I should have.
Mm-hmm.
It's not from being out all night or even being in all night, drinking until whenever and, being fucking
Uh,
hungover. So,
uh,
but you okay over there?
yeah, I'm fine. I yawned. Sorry.
No,
It's
I know. I know. So along this whole lines, and this was written down. I just wrote this down. I don't know, like a week ago, maybe. And I don't remember where I heard this from, but I've heard plenty of people say it. Maybe I just saw it on Instagram. But so the phrase "no one ever regretted giving up alcohol or drugs." Do you agree completely with that statement?
mm. Of course not. I'm a fucking alcoholic and a junkie. No, of course not. Regret it. I mean, I understand it. I am infinitely grateful that I did today. Um, but no, of course. I mean, again, the great obsession. I wish I could drink like normal people. I wish I could use like, yeah, on the weekends. Yeah, of course. I miss it and blah 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 blah. Um, but I understand. Yeah, I had to stop, or we just talked about it, or I'd be dead. So
Right.
I am grateful that I'm still alive.
Yeah, and it was the way that and I put it this way because I didn't agree with this statement. I see it sometimes where it says nobody ever regretted
Mm,
getting sober. So
mm,
that
mm.
there's a different statement.
Yeah,
So I want to put it the other way.
absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
So you agree with that one?
Yeah, that I agree with. Right. Yeah, I don't regret getting sober. Absolutely not.
Right. Okay.
But giving up alcohol and drugs, of course they were fun, man.
Right. Well,
They made me feel good.
and that goes back to something we've talked about plenty of times. There's a huge difference between just giving up booze and
Mm-hmm.
drugs and
Mm-hmm.
getting sober,
Mm-hmm.
or if people even want to use the term being, completely in recovery,
Mm-hmm.
whether you want to use recovery or sober, there's a difference there. It's a lifestyle. It's more than just putting down the bottle or the pills or the pipe or
Absolutely.
the needle. It's sobriety and recovery are a way different thing than that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I wrote it down though, the alcohol and drugs part, because I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's well, two things. There's plenty of people, you and I, having those regrets of, yeah, wish we were different, wish we could, we can't,
Mm-hmm.
but because we've been 100% honest that we had a lot of fucking fun, in certain
Goddamn
circumstances,
right.
and and what I would call, whether you want to even call, I'm not even going to go so far as call it healthy fun, but it was good, clean fun, until it wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm.
plenty of times, whether it doesn't even matter. I can give a ton of circumstances where I'm like, that was fucking fun. And the fact that I was drinking,
Mm-hmm.
didn't, maybe it added to it, maybe it didn't, but those two things happened, this event and the booze, and I had a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful fucking time.
Oh, absolutely.
And
And then, of course, there was those wonderful times where we had bad, dirty fun.
right, right.
Uh-huh.
But then again, towards the end, then those times are no longer fun because we had the
No,
drink.
they weren't.
We were
Yeah,
we were
right.
doing it alone. We were hurting other people,
Mm-hmm.
even when we were 100 miles away in a hotel room by ourselves, right? Like you always
That's
say,
right. Absolutely.
you know,
Yep.
and
Yeah. And shit, again, wasn't fun. We were just trying to get fucking healthy. We were just trying to not be sick.
right,
Yeah. Just trying not to feel bad. Right. Wasn't even feeling good anymore. It was just not feeling bad.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yippee.
but yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring that up, the sober part, after the fact, because that there's a huge difference with that. I mean,
Absolutely.
I couldn't. Well, and we've known people, that are, whether you want to call them, the typical term for it is a dry drunk. Somebody that
Mm-hmm.
just stopped, changed their breath, as they say, and
Out.
didn't do anything else. And there's always, 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 and I'm not necessarily an always or never type of guy in most circumstances, but when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to alcoholism and drug abuse, I mean, there's always something underneath it. And I'm not even talking about, yeah, maybe there's trauma and anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
there's more to work on with that individual than just putting down the bottle or the drugs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Alcohol is just a symptom.
Right. Wait, I've heard that
Yep.
before.
Yeah. So have I read it somewhere.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't a wonderful human being when I didn't have any booze in me at that
Oh,
point.
fuck no. Mm-mm. No, actually, it was much worse. I was better off with a couple pops in me at that point
Yeah.
because, yeah, right. Oh, God, no. I was, God, horrible, miserable piece of garbage when I was fucking dry and, no.
Right.
Nope. I was even worse. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, that if there is anyone that's listening to us that is, let's just say, new-ish, or
Mm-hmm.
newly sober, or kind of newish at this, or even taking a
Mm-hmm.
poke at it. Maybe you
Right.
did the dry January, and you're a few couple of weeks into February, and you quit drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the thing of it is that's cool is that, and I think we've talked about it, but other people around you, if you put down the booze, put down the drugs, and then start working on other things and trying to be that better person,
Mm-hmm.
you're not necessarily going to notice it in yourself, but
Mm-hmm.
other people are going to start saying something like, "Hey, what's different?"
Right.
Or even people that haven't seen you in a long time, when they finally
Mm-hmm.
see you, they're like, it's just you're a completely different person than you were before. They know you quit drinking or got sober, but
Sure. Sure.
there's a there we change. It's inevitable. If you do the work, you're going to change in a positive way if you do the work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. A little light in your eye.
And it's actually, I mean, I was going to say kind of satisfying. It's satisfying,
Mm-hmm.
to have somebody say something like that, because what it does is that, all this, what we feel like, all this shit that we did, all this shit that we gave up, at that point, which it's not, but that's how we feel, well,
Mm-hmm.
I had to give up this, I can't do this, and blah, blah, blah. And I got to go to all these fucking
Right.
meetings. I got to do all these things. I got to pray and I got to read a
Uh-huh.
book. And,
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden you see the worth behind it, just like everything else. But it's a worth that I don't know. I don't think either one of us can explain how fucking wonderful it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Well, peace and serenity, man.
Yeah.
Peace, serenity, and freedom.
Yeah. The freedom is the big thing. And we've talked about that a ton, just a
Mm-hmm.
ton.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, again, yes, the substances themselves, of course, I regret not being able to do them anymore. But not being a slave to those substances anymore, it's fucking wonderful, man.
Right. Right. Yeah, and we've told plenty of stories about that. It just I can't even I think back now and both of us have said it. It makes both of us just tired, trying to think about all the work we did, to stay, like you just said a few minutes ago, to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. It's just absolutely fucking crazy. Just crazy.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to dig back here over to page 2, and these were older ones. Just one caught my eye. Have you ever heard? Did we ever talk about survivor's guilt? The term.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay, so let me just read this up and see if this sounds familiar. If it is, I'll go on to something else. It's the concept that we are here and sober, and others lost their lives to this disease. People that are in the same place as us. Do we as people ever feel guilt, or do you ever feel any type of a guilt feeling? That's what survivor's guilt is. And I don't remember if we've
Right.
ever talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
And
Okay.
and my answer's the same as it was then. I've done the work and I've gotten the results, and why the fuck am I going to feel guilty about that?
Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah.
as soon as I was reading that, I was pretty sure we did, but I was pretty
Yeah.
sure we did. Okay.
Yeah, right. No, there's nothing to feel guilty about.
Right.
Do I feel bad that those people aren't around anymore? Of course I do. Do I realize that it very easily could have been me? Of course it is. But no. Again, I on a daily basis, I do these things that they told me to do, so I get the results, and I'm not going to feel guilty about that.
Right.
Of course not. No.
Yeah, well, and one of the things we've said very openly is it's the why me type of situation, and that
Right.
could be on a good and a bad type of situation. Some bad shit or a bad moment happens, like why me, and but on the other
Right.
side of things, why not me? Why am I so fucking
Mm-hmm.
special?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing special about me that prevents me from having a bad thing, a bad moment, or a bad circumstance happen. I could be
Right.
doing all the positive shit in the world. I'm not immune, to that shit happening. But that goes on the other side too, Same type of situation we had at the time we were at the Keating Center. Again, at any one time there was 40 or 50 guys in
Mm-hmm.
that facility. So
Right.
from when we were physically there from, let's call it middle of April until, was it October 1st
Yeah.
ish? Okay, so roughly in the,
Yeah, towards the end, I thought.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and end of October. So let's call it six
Right.
months, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in a matter of 6 months, I mean, was there 200 guys that went through there? 150?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whatever that. Let's even say 150. Okay, they went through there at a minimum. Now we know, from right now, we know
Mm-hmm.
10 that are close friends
Mm-hmm.
of ours. Let's
Right.
even take the benefit of the doubt and say there's 20 or 25. Okay,
Sure.
so 125 other people,
Mm-hmm.
who knows what happened to them? Maybe they're still drunk. Maybe they're dead. Maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
bouncing in and out. Every week, every
Mm-hmm.
month.
There's a few of
Oh,
them.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know quite a few of them. So in that circumstance, same deal. Why me? Well, why the fuck not me? And I know why me.
Right.
You just said it. We
Mm-hmm.
did the work. We focused. We keep doing the work. It's not just that we did
Mm-hmm.
past tense. We do the work.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's why. I mean, we know what the deal is. And on top of that too, every one of those people. No offense to them, even the ones that fucking died, or the ones that are
Mm-hmm.
bouncing back and forth, or living
Mm-hmm.
miserable fucking lives right now. that
Mm-hmm.
that's a choice, because
Mm-hmm.
they were given the same book, the same playbook, the same test,
Yep.
the same opportunity as us. They chose not
Mm-hmm.
to do it. you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
so
Yeah.
why not me? Yeah.
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 But yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, I do. I feel for, I feel more so for the families, those individuals, um, that have to deal with that bullshit. And
Mm-hmm.
again, we've been to plenty of funerals, for people,
Mm-hmm.
and watching the just it's terrible. There's just no better way to put it. Watching the parents, and especially when they're young, young-ish. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even fucking matter.
Right. Yeah.
Parents having to bury their kids. It's just
Right.
it's not a good
Yeah.
deal.
You know, wives and husbands having to bury their loved ones and kids without parents. And oh, yeah,
Right?
all of that, man. Yep. Yep. Exactly. And I don't want to do that to anybody today.
No.
So I think I won't.
So there.
So there.
So there. Okay, so I think I know the answer to this, but I don't know that we've ever talked about it. So I think this is more of a, I don't even want to say it's a new thing. I know people did it for years. There's a lot of people that journal or write things down and things like that in
Mm-hmm.
recovery. Um, I don't know if I ever asked you, did you ever do anything like that? Whether it be back in the flowery California days or
Mm.
this time, did you ever do any sort of journaling about from a recovery standpoint or no?
Nope.
Okay. Did it ever, I mean, did it ever cross your mind or just never something that even,
Well, sure.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was suggested several times, this time included. Um, just not. It's one of those exercises to me. I know it's very helpful to some people, and that's great. Like a lot of things, whatever you do that helps you through it and gets you there, great. But for me personally, it's a lot of navel gazing. It's a lot of focusing on myself, which is the exact opposite of what I need to do this thing.
Right.
Um, you know, uh, Doing your 4 step and doing your inventories and whatever. Yes, that's a separate thing, and you need to look at yourself because you are ignoring a lot of things about yourself. But on a daily basis, and again, I think the root of my problem is focusing on myself, and that seems to be just an exercise in that for me. So no, I don't do it. It's not a useful tool for me.
Right. And I've never done anything like in a true journaling type of thing. And I mean, and I've talked about it on here, but if you, of course,
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy writing and being, creative in that
Right.
way. But and there was a time, I mean, when I did it, well, this summer, when I took that time away from full time work and was working on the coaching stuff and whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
I did a ton of articles because I wanted to build content for the website, and it was fun. I enjoyed it, getting that stuff out, but I was doing it more for other people than I was doing it for
Uh-huh.
myself.
Huh.
And it was a matter of, it's kind of like this thing, but we do this, we
Mm-hmm.
started for ourselves, but now, it turned into, we realize this is also for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the writing that I was doing, my purpose was to build content, for people to have and to read. It was a way for
Sure.
me, sometimes writing has always been a way for me to get, literally putting all the shit that's in my head, putting it on paper, and I like creating that. That's a creative thing for me. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've never, and I'm sure it was suggested through the Keating Center, right? I'm sure people suggested it.
Oh yeah. Right.
I don't remember. I don't remember even like considering it, like sitting down and doing
Right.
journaling. And we do it. We've got a lot of friends that do it all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
know,
Sure.
I know for a fact, but yeah, same deal. It just never, I don't know. I've nothing wrong with it. Nothing against it. It's just not
Mm-mm.
my deal, man.
Yep. Me neither.
It's not my deal, Wade. So, last thing here, and I wrote this down. It popped off the top of my head after I listened to our episode. And you had talked about this. So you read some things off of a bookmark that you have. Is that
Okay.
there was like three things that you had for life?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, and I didn't think about it when you were reading it, but after I listened to the episode, so I made a note of it. Where did
Mm-hmm.
those things that you read that you read off. First of all, I mean, I'd like you to read them again. I think they were good.
All
But I
right.
was just curious where they came from, when, and I don't know how you came across them. You know what I mean?
Right, right. When? A long fucking time ago. Um, yeah, definitely, probably first year shit.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I can read them again.
Yes,
Right
please.
here. It's a little piece of paper, little green piece of paper. Um, I must not expect what I'm not prepared for. Um, we don't sing because we're happy. We're happy because we sing. And then flip it over. The third one is hearts and mind attuned to the welfare of others.
Okay. And
That one I know for sure is a 24-hour book.
really, okay.
Yeah. But the one I must not expect what I'm not prepared for may also be from the 24-hour book. That seems right. And yeah, we can't sing because we're happy. We're happy because we sing. That one I have no fucking clue where that came from.
Right. Yeah, it just
Some reading though, they're all something I read somewhere.
okay.
And like I said, I know for sure two of them are from the 24-hour book.
Well, and I just when you read them off, and I don't remember what we were talking about at the time that you read them off, but I was listening
Hmm.
back to the episode. I'm like, I really like those, and I
Mm.
didn't know where they came from or how long that you had
Yeah.
those, but
Oh yeah, long time. At least this little piece of paper I've had for well over 10 years.
really.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. At some point, I mean, it's literally my big book is, and I'm looking to my left. It's like 2 arm lengths away from me, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't. That's one of my notes on here is the things in my big book. I want to go through there sometime on one of these episodes
Right.
and just read off the shit that was in there because that was all, um, stuff things I wrote in the first 60 days. So I mean, literally almost
Right.
14 years ago, and I mean,
Yeah. Like stuff from groups and stuff.
yeah.
Right.
And I dipped into that one time when we were talking about when we went 3/4 and there was some things I forget what it was, but I blew my fucking mind when I was reading. I'm like, hey, because it was something that we had just talked about. I'm like, I think that's in there, and I
Mm-hmm.
looked and yeah, it was written down exactly from at that point. It's been almost 2 years ago now, but um, yeah, it just kind of blew my mind. And it's fun though. It's reading some of that stuff back, and I don't know. There's the and I had it for my was my screensaver on my computer for the longest time. I can't remember what it said. Something about I don't want the little things in life, or I don't want big things in life. I want little things that make life big, or something like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just one of these quotes that I came across, and I don't know where it came from, but it's hugely important to me. I'm like, yeah, just I do. I don't need, and that's the way I am now. And I think I grew into that after obviously
Mm-hmm.
from getting sober. Is
Right.
that I Yes, I like things. I like nice stuff. I like a decent car.
Mm-hmm.
I like nice computers. I like toys and shit like that. There's certain things that, I do like. I like some nice things, but
Mm-hmm.
I prefer more just these little things that make my life full. Just that's why I always talk
Yeah.
about. It's quality time with people. I don't see you that often. I see my kids often enough, but not as much as I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
Family. We
Mm-hmm.
get together with friends and things like that. Shit, all of our poker buddies, and that whole group.
Right.
But when we're together, that time it's quality thing. It's like my number one. I love quality time with people,
Mm-hmm.
and just these little things that mean the world to me. But yeah, such a simpleton, but it's and I mean I mean that in a great way. I don't give a fuck if I don't to I don't care about material shit anymore. I just don't, and
Right.
I need enough money I want enough money to be able to do some things, have some things. And I already told my kids, man, I mean I'll have life insurance hopefully in place whenever I kick it, but um,
Right.
any money I have, I'd rather spend it on them now or do stuff with them now or on my
Mm-hmm.
grandson and, do stuff with them rather than, again, life insurance pays to put me in the ground or
Yeah, that's it.
sprinkle me,
That's
sprinkle me.
what I've got.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sprinkle me
Yeah,
some.
take care of my body when I'm gone so you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, as far as the rest of it, I want to do it now
Yeah.
because tomorrow's not promised.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah. So that was the last thing, really. I mean, I got other shit on here. I think I got to clean up my list and kind of rearrange this
Mm.
shit. The funny part is that with well, these last couple of weeks between training and then again actually working full time, I
Uh-huh.
haven't really been listening to. I can't like listen to podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's where I got a lot of my ideas from. That's why I'm writing some of this shit down, and
Mm-hmm.
I have from my recovery books and those sort of things. But yeah. So who knows? Maybe you'll have to bring something to the table one of these days.
Ah, shit.
Just fucking around. We always find shit to talk about. It just who knows.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I've been so once a day. I usually go on to our Facebook page, a Sober Not Mature Facebook page at night. Usually before I go to
Mm-hmm.
bed, and just kind of pop through. And we've of course now we've been on there long enough where it has Facebook memories, which is kind of fun.
Mm.
I'll be able to grab I recycle memes and stuff off of there that I posted, things I haven't posted in a year or so, which they seem brand new. But they're listening to some of our episode clips. Some of the shit kind of makes me laugh. I listen back, when because Tony's episode came up. I think Megan's
Mm.
episode is coming up next. A
Mm.
couple of some of the stuff I just seriously, I'm listening to some of the clips I did of us and laughing my ass
Mm-hmm.
off. I'm like, oh my god, that was so fucking stupid. It was funny. So
Well, there you
yeah.
go.
So anyhow, my point there is we're fucking hilarious. So if anyone hasn't
Mm-hmm.
listened to all the episodes, go back like 20,
Yeah.
26 episodes. They're pretty fucking funny. We
Mm.
got 104 of them now. So what the fuck, man?
Right. Yeah. What are you waiting
Yeah,
for?
exactly. So all right, but you know what? I think unless you got something
Mm.
else, man, I think this is the end of the
Oh,
104th. Oh
I think it is. What? Go
no,
ahead.
it's just this is the I'm like this is the end of season 4. What the fuck?
Mm. All right.
Just go on, do your thing.
That's right. This has been the spectacular season finale of season 4 of Sober Not Mature. Hey, guess what? We'll be back with more crap next week with season 5, whatever the fuck that means. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this episode, season finale, spectacular of Sober Not Mature. Go out there and be nice to each other. Do something nice for somebody else this week. Don't tell anybody that you did it. And now it's time. It's time. Guess what? This season is fucking over. So you know what you can do? You can fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate. Dream the impossible dream. And keep fucking off until season 5.
I always mute, but it's a good goddamn thing I was muted this time, man. This whole fucking time I was laughing through there. You know what? It's time. It's the end. It's this. And,
Yep.
and the whole time I was sitting there in my head, I'm like, God, did I do the math right? This is the end of the season, right?
Well, whatever it is now.
I know. And yeah, stay tuned for all all,
The new and improved.
yeah, you know what's going to happen next week for season 5? Nothing. There's
Right.
going to be a 5 where it said 4, and that's fucking it. There's
And we're going to introduce Cousin Oliver.
who's cousin Oliver? Oh,
The kid they brought in at the Brady
yeah.
Bunch for like the last couple
It took
episodes.
me a second. Yeah, we're jumping the shark in this episode, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that would be the key. We got to bring on a child now. So, yeah, got to bring a child into the mix because that's when the show's starting to go to the shitter. That's what they do.
Right.
All right, whatever. But yeah, we're not doing anything fucking different. But
No, we're not doing any of
no,
that.
it's just for whatever reason we decided to cut things into season. So that's what we're doing. We're staying consistent, right?
Consistently stupid.
All right, man. You know what? I love you, brother.
I love you too.
And I know I'll talk to you soon. But for now,
Yes, you will.
Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.